As do many Unitarian Universalist congregations, we begin our service with the lighting of a chalice. I invite Jennifer Brown to light our chalice this evening. The chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith and represents the Unitarian Universalist Association, or UUA. The flaming chalice symbolizes the heritage of our past, the warmth of community, and the light of hope within this church today. During our service, we'll hear a classic story written by the great Unitarian writer, Charles Dickens. We'll light our chalice with his words.
I have always thought of Christmas time, when it has come round, as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable time, the only time I know of in the long calendar of the year, when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely and to think of people below them as if they really were fellow passengers. We light our chalice tonight for all our fellow passengers in this life, that this holiday may bring lightness where there is heaviness, joy where there is sorrow.
Our opening hymn is number 253, "O Come All Ye Faithful," in your gray hymnal. We'll sing all three verses. We're going to ask that you stand if you're willing and able to, and so moved, and join our song leader, Caroline Nixon. Please remain standing and join me in our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to work for justice through action, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. You may be seated. Now, please come forward if you are young at heart or would like to have a close-up view of our Time for All Ages presented by the effervescent Director of Religious Education, Nikki Kennedy. Afterwards, we'll sing the children back to their seats with number 235, Deck the Hall, in the gray hymnal. We'll sing the first verse.
Good evening, everyone. That sounded a little dull. I think we can, but we can do better. We have excitement in this room. Good evening, everyone. Oh, that sounded so much better. Tal, why don't you sit right here? Perfect place for your cushion and yourself. Awesome. I am so excited to see all of you here tonight and your smiles and your help. And I was thinking, December 24th happens every year, but some years stick out to me more than others. And I don't know how many of you were even born then, but I know some of us will remember 2008, 2009 maybe, it snowed on December 24th. In fact, it snowed so much that afternoon, I was traveling on Hewlin Street. You know the big Hewlin Street Bridge? I could not see the trains under it because the snow was coming down so heavy. And as the evening and the night came, they started to close down streets because the conditions got worse and worse. Now, there's something magical about snow. The way the flakes dance through the sky, the sounds are much more muted when it snows as well because it's absorbed into that. The crunch of your feet walking through that snow, that's a memory I will never forget. This morning, we didn't have snow, but we did have some precipitation. Maybe some of you heard thunder. Maybe some of you played in the rain. I saw some kids having stick races when it was not lightning as the rain was running down their streets. I heard the birds chirping. So memories and traditions, we talk about them a lot during this season, this holiday season. There are so many things celebrated all around the world during the 6 weeks. And I bet some of you have a favorite tradition or memory as well. As we are gathered here this evening, I look forward to the candlelight and hearing the music that fills our space as we hear a story. Many people helped prepare for us to be here tonight. Some of you may have helped with cleaning or putting out the luminaries, decorating, practicing, rehearsing, but tonight we gather here to celebrate community. One of the traditions Westside has during the season is to collect scarves and hats and mittens and socks, and usually that tree over there is full of them. But you notice there's not any there tonight because they've been delivered. This tradition at Westside is very cherished because of how many people are able to participate. More importantly, how important it is for us to share and to help our community. One thing that Westside does as a tradition to live into our shared values. As Unitarian Universalists, we live into those shared values, not just today, not just when we gather, but in all the times and all that we do. Those shared values include justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, all while keeping love at the center. This evening, as we listen to the service, I hope you will hear how Charles Dickens' story, full of traditions and full of celebrating with loved ones, we'll hear why keeping love at the center continues to make a difference in our community as we live into those shared values. My hope is that for all of us, young and young at heart, and everyone else in this room as well, tonight as we gather in community, may you continue to make memories, may you continue to live every day to the fullest, and may you continue to work on living into those shared values while keeping love at the center. I am so happy you guys are all here tonight.
And now, we are pleased to present What the Dickens, A Christmas Carol. In 1843, shortly after visiting Unitarians here in the United States, and shortly after joining a Unitarian church in his country, England, Charles Dickens wrote the beloved story called A Christmas Carol.
It's about a man named Ebenezer Scrooge. Scrooge loved money above all other things. To him, it was the most important thing in life, more important than family, friends, the people who worked for him, or people in general.
Let's see what Dickens said happened to Scrooge one fateful Christmas. Let's start our Christmas Eve play.
Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve day, old Ebenezer Scrooge sat busy in his money-counting house.
Outside in the cold, bleak weather, the city clocks had only just struck 3 in the afternoon, but it was quite dark already. Carriages and sleighs went by, the horses' bells jingling in the winter air.
Scrooge kept a careful eye upon his clerk, who sat at a dismal little desk copying letters. Scrooge had a very small fire, but the clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like one coal.
Meanwhile, the fog and darkness thickened, and the cold became piercing. Some carolers passed by outdoors, singing.
Christmas. Bah, humbug. Go away, you miserable little beggars. Take your Christmas carols and get away from my door.
Merry Christmas.
I live in a world of fools. Merry Christmas. If I had my way, everyone who said Merry Christmas would be cooked for his own Christmas dinner. Ha! Back to work.
At length, the hour of closing arrived, and Bob Cratchit, the clerk, stood up and put on his scarf.
You'll want all day off tomorrow, I suppose, it being Christmas Day.
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. I pay a day's wages for no work.
But it's only once a year.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pockets every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be sure to be here early the next morning.
I promise. Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas. Bah. Humbug. Humbug, I say.
Something amazing was about to happen to Ebenezer Scrooge. A star of truth was about to shine in his life, and he had to find the courage to follow it. Let us sing hymn number 238, Within the Shining of a Star, in your gray hymnal. We'll stay seated throughout.
Within the shining of a star, we catch a glimpse of who we are. In every infant born we see the hope of our nativity, the miracle of each new birth, when she can save the stony earth. Triumphantly, the newborn's cry strikes echoes from the waiting sky.
And thanks to Caroline Nixon for being our song leader today. So Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol He knew about being poor. But when he was 12 years old, his family lost all they had and were sent to jail for poor people. Charles was sent to work in a factory for 10 hours a day to help pay his family's debts.
Later, he worked as a clerk, like Bob Cratchit. He learned how hard things were for poor families. All his life, Charles Dickens wrote books about how hard things were for poor people. He used his gift of storytelling to help others. Let's get back to the story.
Scrooge went home to his chambers, which had once belonged to his dead business partner, Marley. They were a gloomy set of rooms in an old, dreary building where nobody lived but him.
The yard around the building was so dark that Scrooge had to grope with his hands. As he found the doorknob and put key to lock, he saw not a knob, but the face of Marley.
Oh! Scrooge had not given one thought to his former business partner, Marley, since their death 7 years earlier. Startled, Scrooge looked upon the face of Marley and stared as it turned back again to just a knob.
Scrooge put his hand upon the key, turned it sturdily, walked in, and lighted his candle.
Humbug.
Scrooge walked back through his rooms to see that it was all right. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, and a small fire in the grate.
Quite satisfied, he put on his dressing gown and his nightcap, locked his sleeping room door, and sat down before the fire.
Humbug.
As Scrooge sat there, he heard a clanking noise deep down below, as if some person were dragging a heavy chain in the cellar.
He heard the cellar door fly open with a booming sound, and then heard the noise coming up the stairs, then coming straight towards his door.
It's humbug still.
It was not humbug. Whatever it was a ghost.
Now, don't be scared. No one gets hurt in this play.
I wasn't scared. Humbug.
Without a pause, the ghost came through the heavy door and passed into the room before Scrooge's eyes.
A chain clasped about the ghost's middle held ledgers,
Those are books where people keep track of money.
deeds,
Those are papers about who owns property.
and cash box, keys and padlocks made of steel.
Who are you?
In life, I was your business partner, Marley.
Oh, humbug. I tell you, humbug.
Scrooge, hear me.
Dreadful ghost. Why do you trouble me?
I wear the chain I made in life. Each time I made money more important than people. Each time I made some poor family lose their home. Each time I sent a poor person to prison, I made another link in this chain, and now in death I must drag it after me. It's a dreadful burden, Scrooge. Hear me. My time is nearly gone, and I'm here tonight to warn you so that you may yet have a chance of escaping my fate. You will be haunted this very evening by 3 spirits. Expect the first when the bell tolls midnight. Expect the second when it strikes 2, and expect the third when it strikes 4 in the morning. For your own sake, remember what will pass.
Bah.
Scared and tired, Scrooge went straight to bed and fell into a fitful sleep.
Ebenezer went to sleep to dream, perhaps of another midnight clear, when angels sang unto the earth. Let us sing hymn number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, in your gray hymnal.
It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious
Now, I said Scrooge loved money more than friends, but maybe he had one friend anyway. Maybe Marley was his friend, because Marley came back to tell Scrooge the truth.
Friends do that sometimes. Sometimes a good friend will tell us the truth about how we could be better people. Do you think Scrooge will listen to this friend or to the ghosts that will come? Let's see.
Scrooge awoke when he heard the bell sounding the hour of midnight.
Lights flashed in the room and the curtains were drawn aside. Scrooge found himself face to face with an unearthly visitor. It wore a tunic of the purest white and a lustrous belt, and the dress trimmed with summer flowers.
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
As the ghost spoke these words, she clasped Scrooge's hand, and they passed through the wall and soon stood upon a country road with fields on either side.
Good heavens, I was a boy here.
Walking the road, he recognized every gate and post and tree. Soon they came to a school.
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Scrooge beheld himself as a child, thin, cold, alone, at Christmas time in the old school, with no one to care for him.
I know the boy.
Scrooge sobbed as he remembered what a sad child he had been, always alone on Christmas Day.
The ghost grasped his hand again and stopped at a warehouse door.
Oh, Fezziwigs. I had my first job here.
In they went, and at the sight of an old gentleman sitting behind a high desk, Scrooge cried out,
Why, it's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart. It's Fezziwig alive again.
Yo ho there, Ebenezer.
Scrooge's former self, now a young man, came briskly in, accompanied by a fellow apprentice.
Yo ho, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Ebenezer.
Oh, the Christmas party. He threw such marvelous parties. Plenty of cake and punch and pie. It was glorious. Of course, it cost him a fortune.
Scrooge could scarcely believe his eyes, seeing himself as he was then.
As a jolly Christmas party began, Scrooge caught sight of a young girl, Fezziwig's daughter, Belle.
Ah, Belle, as lovely as ever. She always took my breath away. That was before I took the job with Marley and became infected with greed.
Then again, away Scrooge and the ghost went. Again, Scrooge saw himself, older now, a man in the prime of his life, with an eager, greedy, restless motion in his eyes.
He sat not alone, but with Belle, who had tears trailing down her cheeks. He had loved this girl once, and they were to be married.
Oh, Spirit, do not show me this day.
We cannot marry, Ebenezer. You do not love me as you did. I fear a golden idol replaces me, and gain engrosses you.
She rose and walked sadly away. Love of money had made him lose her.
No, no, don't go, Belle.
She cannot hear you.
Oh, foolish young man, to have prized money over that woman. Ghost, remove me from this place.
I told you these were shadows of things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me. I cannot bear it. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Scrooge found himself in his own bedroom and fell heavily back to sleep.
When the star of truth shone on Scrooge's life, he had the courage to follow and to see what treasures the light revealed. Some were painful, but valuable all the same. Let's sing together a song about treasures brought to a special child by earthly kings. Hymn number 259, We Three Kings in Your Gray Hymnal. We'll sing the first two verses.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns the deity nigh. Prayer and praising all are raising, worship God most high. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night.
Speaking of treasures, let's pause the play for a moment for our offertory. Here at Westside, we practice our UU faith in a variety of ways. And one of those ways is by giving 100% of gifts to our weekly collection, unless otherwise designated, to support organizations who carry out our transcendent values of compassion, justice, and equality. Here at Westside, compassion leads us to work for justice and equality. It leads us also to offer financial support for ministries that carry forward our values. For just tonight, our offering will go to the Westside InReach Fund. Over a decade ago, the members of Westside agreed to develop a fund that would allow us to help each other in time of need. This fund was named the InReach Fund, as distinguished from the community outreach supported by most of our collections. It is funded entirely by donations from the congregation. The pastoral care team oversees the fund, accepts applications for assistance, and decides whether money should be given out. Any member or friend in good standing may apply. The InReach Fund is one more way the members of the Westside family can embrace each other, offer practical support, as well as warm thoughts and good wishes. If you are giving toward your stewardship pledge, please use the envelopes at the bottom of the bowl as it is passed. And now let us enjoy this musical offering, O Christmas Tree, German traditional, performed by Yuki. Amazing to see how many volunteers will come up when we're collecting money. Thanks, Jana. Hey, it's in the theme of Scrooge. I can be a little bit miserly. So can you imagine seeing yourself as you once were? What a gift the spirit of Christmas past gave Scrooge, helping him remember how he became the man he was.
It was a painful gift for Scrooge. Let's see how he was able to receive it and the gift of the next spirit.
Scrooge woke in the middle of a great snore, knowing the bell was about to strike 2. Trembling, he watched and waited.
He saw a blaze of ruddy light, which was more alarming than the dozen ghosts. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the adjoining room, from whence the light seemed to shine.
Ebenezer Scrooge, good fellow, come in, come in.
Heaped upon the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultry, great joints of meat, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies.
I guess they weren't vegetarians, were they? But they were also plum puddings, barrels of red-hot chestnuts, cherry-peaked apples, juicy oranges, luscious pears, and seething bowls of punch.
Above it all sat a jolly giant, glorious to see.
I am the ghost of Christmas present.
Spirit, conduct me where you will.
Gone was the fine food and punch. Gone was the room and warm fire. Instead, Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas present stood on the threshold of Bob Cratchit's door.
Blessings on this house and all who dwell within.
They went through the door as if it were merely a mist. Inside, they found a merry bustle as the Cratchit family prepared for Christmas dinner.
Why, it's Bob Cratchit. This must be his house. This must be his family.
The Cratchit children set chairs for everyone. Bob took his son, Tiny Tim, beside him. Tiny Tim was small and thin and sickly. He could not walk very well and needed a crutch to get along.
And who is that little fellow?
That is Tiny Tim.
Why is he walking with the crutch?
I fear that Tiny Tim is not well. He has been sickly all his young life.
At last the dishes were set on and grace was said. Mrs. Cratchit brought in a small goose on a platter.
Hurrah!
A toast to the founder of the feast, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Founder of the feast, indeed. How can he expect you to support a fine family on such a small salary?
My dear, it is Christmas, and we're meant to be generous with all, even Mr. Scrooge.
To Mr. Scrooge, then, God bless him.
Yes, a Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
Merry Christmas. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved.
But no, that cannot be. Can nothing be done?
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Things are looking sad as Scrooge's heart slowly opens. This is a gift of Christmas. Even when things are difficult, we believe in the message it brings. Let us sing together number 248, Oh, We Believe in Christmas, in the gray hymnal to raise our spirits before our story continues. Because of the gift of truth from the ghost of Christmas past, Scrooge has seen himself as a lonely child transformed into a man more inspired by greed than love.
Because of the gift of the ghost of Christmas present, Scrooge has seen the hidden home life of his worker, Bob Cratchit. He has seen a sickly child who blesses everyone. This touches the old miser's heart.
It must have made Scrooge think, here was a boy whose life was even worse than his, except this child had a loving family. What gift do you think the next spirit will bring, and how will Scrooge react? Let's find out.
Scrooge lifted his eyes and beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming towards him. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its form and left nothing visible save one outstretched hand.
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmases yet to come?
The ghost answered not, but pointed downward with its hand.
You are about to show me shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in time. Is that so, Spirit?
Although used to ghostly companions by this time, Scrooge feared the silent shape so much that his legs trembled beneath him, and he found that he could hardly stand.
Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time to me. I know, lead on, Spirit.
Scrooge looked to find himself outside the door of Bob Cratchit's house once again.
Why do they weep, Spirit?
The spirit said nothing, just pointed to Bob Cratchit, coming up the street, head bowed down. Cratchit sighs, then squares his shoulders as he opens the door.
Sorry I'm late, my dear. I was at the churchyard visiting Tiny Tim's grave. I promised him I would visit often.
Oh, Bob, I miss him so much.
So do I, my dear. So do we all.
That's enough, cruel Spirit. Is there no hope that Tiny Tim could live?
The spirit said nothing, just raised one ghastly arm and pointed. The next moment, the spirit and Scrooge stood in a graveyard. The spirit pointed to one of the graves.
What is this place? Is this where poor Tiny Tim is buried?
The ghost said nothing, but merely pointed at a headstone.
Scrooge crept toward it, trembling as he went. Following the finger, he read upon the stone of a neglected grave his own name.
Ebenezer Scrooge. No, Spirit. Oh, no, no.
The ghost of Christmas yet to be did not stir, did not move.
Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. Good Spirit, assure me that I may change those shadows you have shown me if I change my life.
The spirit did not move.
I will honor Christmas in my heart. I will try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out those lessons they teach. Oh, tell me I may sponge away the writing on this stone.
Holding up his hands in one last prayer, he saw an alteration in the ghost hood and dress.
It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled into a bedpost.
I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. O Marley, heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Marley, on my knees. Thank you for warning me. Thank you for giving me another chance.
Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head and felt clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold.
Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious! Below in the street, the same carolers sang.
Hey there, girl. What is today?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Saints be praised. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Fine lass. Do you know if they've sold that prize turkey hanging at the store? You know the one. It's as big as you.
It's hanging there now.
Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge. What's gotten into him? It must be a Christmas miracle.
I'll send it to Bob Cratchit. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
Scrooge dressed himself all in his best, and at last went out into the streets. Scrooge regarded everyone with a delighted smile.
He went to church and walked about, watched the people, patted children on the head, talked with beggars, and found that everything could yield him pleasure.
Soon we'll conclude our play, but first let's us sing together in the spirit of this happy moment, number 240, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, in the Gray Hymnal, verses 1 and 2.
The day after Christmas, Scrooge was early at the office. He was waiting when Bob Cratchit entered, a little late.
Mr. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in this late?
I'm very sorry, sir. It won't happen again.
Bob Cratchit, I cannot stand this any longer. Therefore, I'm going to raise your salary.
Raise it, sir? Are you feeling well, Mr. Scrooge?
Better than ever in my whole life. A Merry Christmas, Bob. And may it be a merrier Christmas, my good fellow, that I have given you for many a year.
You are serious. And a Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Not only do I intend to raise your salary, Bob Cratchit, I intend to provide Tiny Tim with the finest medical care that could be found.
Tiny Tim? How do you know about my son, sir?
Oh, never you mind right now. I have quite a tale to tell, such as you would never believe. We will discuss all this very afternoon, Bob, over a cup of Christmas punch. For now, let's see what we can do for some of the poor people who rent apartments from me.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father.
He became as good a friend, as good a leader, and as good a man as the old good city knew.
And it was always said of him from that great night forward that he knew how to keep Christmas well.
May that truly be said of all of us.
And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
Bless us, everyone. Let's now join together. For this, I'll ask you to stand if you are able and sing number 245, Joy to the World, verses 1 and 2 in the Gray Hymnal. And so our story concludes. Thank you to all who helped make it happen. You may be seated. Our closing words, the work of Christmas, number 615 in the Gray Hymnal, are by Howard Thurman. When the song of angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the brothers, to make music in the heart. So now we're going to do a little something that I haven't done before here at Westside, and I'm excited for this to happen. It's our candle lighting, and we're going to do it in conjunction with the singing of Silent Night. So Jennifer and I are going to be coming down the aisles with a lighter to help you light your candles, and then just like you pass for the offertory, you'll light the candle of your friend next to you. And while that's going on, Caroline will be singing Silent Night, Holy Night, and feel free once you've got your candle squared away to join in the singing.
Silent night, holy night, silent night, holy night, child of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls and in the hands of each one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place. There actually is a little bowl somewhere where you can douse your candle, hopefully toward the exit. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most importantly, with those you have yet to meet. And last, I ask that you please rise and join me in the congregational closing. Go in peace, seeking justice. Go in peace, committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. Go in the peace that is created when together we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. You can do it the old-fashioned way.